Good evening, and I welcome 12th chemistry students. Here in the last video, I have solved sample question paper 2021-22 term 1, subject chemistry 043. I have solved section A in my previous video, which is available and you can observe it with full explanations. And today I will be solving section B of the sample question paper 2021-22 term 1 chemistry released by the CBSE. Time is 90 minutes here. Question paper contains 3 units. Section A has 25 questions. Attempt any 20 questions. This has been solved by us. Section B is what I am solving today. 24 question. Attempt any 20 questions. Section C has 6 questions. Attempt any 5. All questions carry equal marks. There is no negative marking. Let us see what is section B, students. Pay attention, focus, set up an intention that you want to learn each and every question which I will be solving here for you, so that you understand how to solve a question in the 12th coming term 1 paper. Section B consists of 24 multiple choice questions. There are 24 multiple choice questions with overall choice to attempt any 20. You have to attempt any 20 out of the 24. In case more than desirable number of questions are attempted, only first 20 will be considered for evaluation. So your first 20 questions will be evaluated. If you write anything more than that, that will not be evaluated. Question number 1, question number 26 is on the screen. How much ethyl alcohol must be added to 1 liter water so that solution will freeze at minus 14 degrees Celsius? Students, you are aware that this is example of, you have studied depression in freezing point. You have studied depression in freezing point. What is depression in freezing point? When a non-volatile solute is added to a solvent, there is a depression in the freezing point. You know here how much ethyl alcohol should be added to 1 liter. You have 1 liter water, students, which will be equal to 1000 centimeter cube, and you also know the density of water is equal to 1 gram per centimeter cube. Therefore I can say that the density is equal to mass per unit volume. So mass is a density into volume. So 1000 centimeter cube into 1 gram per centimeter cube will be, student, how many? This will be equal to mass of the water is 1000 gram, which is equal to 1 kg. All right. So here we already know we have 1 kilogram of water. How much ethyl alcohol? Now you see in the question he has given moles. So quantity, how much quantity in terms of, we have to talk in terms of moles, student. What we are saying, how much moles? If N2 is the number of moles, if N2 is the number of moles of ethyl alcohol, which should be added, because when non-volatile solute is added, there is a depression in freezing point. The freezing point of the water, pure water, what is the freezing point of pure water? Freezing point of pure water is known to you, student, T0F, 0 degree Celsius or 273 Kelvins. Now, what is going to happen? Minus 14 degrees Celsius. Difference in freezing point, either you take in Kelvin or Celsius, makes no difference. And if when you will add alcohol, what will happen? The freezing point of solution is less. Freezing point of solution, there is a lowering in freezing point, that I am saying is TF, which should be how much? Minus 14 degrees Celsius. So so that the solution will freeze at minus 14 degrees Celsius. So what will be the delta TF, student? The depression in freezing point is T0F minus T of F, which is 0 minus 14. So that comes to be plus 14, either degree Celsius or 14 Kelvin. Makes no difference. This is the difference, delta TF. Now you have got delta TF, students. You know What is the formula for the depression in freezing point? Delta TF is equal to KF into molality, student. And what is your KF, student? You already know KF is given here, molar depression constant. KF is the molar depression or freezing point depression constant, the value of which is, if you will see the NCERT books also, 1.86 Kelvin kilogram per mole, students. This is the value which is given in degree Celsius per mole here. And what is the molality? How do you calculate molality? Molality is the moles. If N2 is the moles of the solute per kg of the solvent, per kg of the solvent. Here you are given how much? You are given 1 kg of the water. So students, you already have N2 by 1 kg, N2 by 1 kg. And what is the value of delta TF is 14 Kelvin is equal to what you have here. KF value is 1.8686. You can also use 86 Kelvin kilogram per mole. And what you have is N2 by kg. So it gets cancelled. Kelvin cancel. So what you are getting, N2 is equal to 14 by 1.86, student. So what will be the answer for this? Calculate 14 by around 2, less than 2. So it comes to around 7.5 mole. So which is the correct answer? A is the correct answer. Answer A, 7.5 mole. This is our answer for question number 26. All right, let's go to the next question. Next question is on the screen, students. Which reagent are required for one-step conversion? One-step conversion of chlorobenzene. Let me write the formula of chlorobenzene, students. How do you do such conversions? This is my chlorobenzene. What you want to convert, student? Chlorobenzene, you want to convert into toluene. What is the formula of toluene, student? This is my toluene. Now you want one step. Can you see what type of reaction you will have to do? How to convert chlorobenzene into toluene, student? Here, this group is being replaced by alkyl group. So what type of reaction you have studied, student? One very important reaction. You have studied Wurtz reaction. Then you have studied Wurtz-Fittig reaction. This is a aryl halide. This is a, what type of compound is this, student? This is a aryl halide. And you know, if aryl halide is reacted with sodium in the presence of an alkyl halide, what alkyl halide is required here, student? This is methyl group. So you will need ClCH3. This is my alkyl halide. This is my aryl halide. And you will require dry ether, students. What is the name of this reaction? Now, I hope it is very clear to you. What will be the product? Let me make it very clear. This is my reaction, students. Cl, I am using sodium. I am using ClCH3. And this is my dry ether. Now you got the name of the reaction, students. What will happen? What will happen? This goes out and carbon-carbon bond is formed, student. This is our product. What is this? Toluene. And this reaction is known as Wurtz-Fittig reaction, students. Important point to note is that you have studied three such reactions: Wurtz reaction, Wurtz-Fittig reaction, and Fittig reaction. They are important for the coming examination. In this question, he is saying which reagent are required for one step. This is a one-step reaction for the conversion of chlorobenzene to toluene. So what you will need, student, what will be the correct answer for question number 27 is already on the screen. No, this is Friedel-Crafts reaction. No, this is not there. This is not there. This is a diazonium. So this is the correct answer. You are using methyl chloromethane, alkyl halide, sodium, and dry ether. This is the correct answer. Correct answer is, student, B. That means CH3, ClNA, and dry ether. The name of the reaction already given to you. Wurtz-Fittig reaction. Now coming to the next question, students. On partial hydrolysis of XCF6, student, you know this is a very important thing. Hexafluorides of xenon. Xenon is the one which forms fluorides or compounds among the noble gas elements. You know, helium and neon, they are not, or other elements are not forming compounds, but hexafluoride, because fluorine is a strong oxidizing agent, it can oxidize. Here the oxidation state of xenon is +6. Xenon is in +6 oxidation state, as you can see here. So what will happen when xenon fluoride reacts with water? It can undergo hydrolysis, and you should know already this is a very important reaction. Then it can form, what they form is oxyfluorides. Oxygen and fluorine compounds are formed here. For example, this X, this is +6 oxidation state. I'm saying xenon is in +6 oxidation state here. So what you can get is XeOF4, and hydrogen fluoride is formed in all the cases. So if you will, this will be 2HF. Now interesting thing is here, student, this xenon is +6. Here also oxygen -2 and -4. Here also xenon is in +6 oxidation state 2. In order to remember such reactions, you should see that higher oxidation state, when the reaction with water takes place, oxyfluorides are being formed, but xenon still continues to be in the same oxidation state, and hydrogen fluoride. But the reaction, another possible reaction I can write is with water. Partial hydrolysis, these are examples of the partial hydrolysis, and you are going to get XeO2, F2, and then here you will get 4HF. In both the cases, you see 4 hydrogen fluoride is formed. Xenon is again being oxidized to +6 oxidation state, -2, when -4, -2, -6. So xenon is still in +6 oxidation state. Now you see the products which we have for the partial hydrolysis. These are the products of the partial hydrolysis of xenon hexafluoride. Oxyfluorides are being formed, and hydrogen fluoride is always a product. Remember that. This is a way to remember it. Now, what is the answer given here? XeO3, no, nothing like that. XeO2F2, XeO2F, no, XeOF4, XeO2F2, and HF. Yes, this is the right product, as you can see in this reaction. So our answer is D, students. XeO2F2 plus 4HF. This is our balanced reaction. This is the correct answer. Let us come to the next question, student. Which of the following statement is correct? Correct about sucrose. Student, sometimes they give question incorrect. The question here is which of the following statement is correct? What is sucrose, student? You should know sucrose is a disaccharide. Sucrose is a disaccharide, student. And you know, in this alpha D glucose, what are the two monosaccharides? And beta D fructose. These are the two monomers, these are the two monosaccharides which form this disaccharide. And you are aware there is a glycosidic linkage between, where is the glycosidic linkage? The C1 and C2. This is a glycosidic linkage position is for alpha glucose. Alpha glucose you have C1, and for beta fructose you have C2 carbon. Therefore, student, it is clear in this case this sugar is going to be a non-reducing sugar. Is a non-reducing sugar, because the carbonyl groups of both fructose and glucose are involved in the formation of a glycosidic bond. Hence, it is a non-reducing sugar. First, he says it can reduce tolerance reagent, however, cannot. That is wrong. You can see that there is no such group which can do it. It undergoes mutarotation like glucose and fructose. What are mutarotation is something totally different from this. You already know in case of glucose, what happens? There are two forms of, there are two anomers of glucose, or fructose also has two anomers at C2 position, glucose at C1. So there is a change in specific rotation with the time. That is also wrong. It undergoes inversion on hydrolysis. Student, this is very important. Let me explain to this, that what is sucrose is, what do you mean by inversion in configuration? Sucrose is a dextrorotatory, students. Sucrose is dextrorotatory. It will rotate the plane polarized light towards the clockwise direction. And what happens when sucrose is hydrolyzed on hydrolysis? You know, there are the two products which are formed. You get alpha D glucose and you will get beta D fructose on hydrolysis, and this has a specific rotation of plus 52.4 degree, and this is minus 92.4 degree. So the net result is, students, this dextro will get converted into dextro will get this negative is more than positive. So what will happen? This will become levo. The D, this is a D, this will become, it'll behave like L, students. So there will be inversion of configuration, what we call as inversion. So this is called inversion has taken place. There is a change in sign of rotation. Change in sign of rotation, and that is what we call as inversion of sucrose. Inversion in configuration takes place, student. Therefore, the correct answer is C. So C is the correct answer. Inversion in configuration will take place. Therefore, students, you have this answer. That it is wrong. All right, let us go to the next question. Phenol does not undergo nucleophilic substitution reaction easily. What do you mean by nucleophilic substitution reaction, students? What is a nucleophilic substitution? This is my phenol. There is a lone pair of electron, lone pair of electron. Now here you see this carbon, COH carbon, this carbon joined with oxygen is sp2 hybridized. So it can attract this lone pair of electron of oxygen, of the oxygen, student. Then what will happen? If this lone pair of electron is attracted by this, student, you know what process can take place. You can have something like this. So there's still one lone pair of electron, positive and negative, and still this can further undergo, you know, resonance stabilization. You are aware of this. I need not draw all these structures. So what has happened, student, here? The carbon, what you can see in this case, the carbon, what is happening? The COH bond has acquired partial double bond character. Therefore, student, it will be difficult to break this bond. More energy will be required to break this bond when you will do nucleophilic substitution reactions. So let us see what is the correct answer. Acidic nature of phenol, no. Partial double bond character, student, partial double bond character. That is the correct answer which we have explained to you. Partial double bond character of COH bond, COH bond. Carbon oxygen bond has become partially double bond, because of which it will be difficult that this nucleophilic substitution will not take place. You do not have that much energy to break the double bond. It is easier to break single bond and difficult to break a double bond. Partial double bond character is there, sp2 hybridization is there here. So this is the correct answer. Then carbon, no. So our answer for this is B. That is partial double bond character of COH bond. COH bond. Okay, next question. Next question is coming, student. Which of the following has the highest ionization enthalpy? What is the ionization enthalpy? Energy required to remove an electron from a neutral gaseous atom. Let me see nitrogen. What is the atomic number of nitrogen? 7, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Or this is my nitrogen, student. This is my 2s, this is my 2p. 1, 2, 3. So nitrogen is present in which group, student? This is group 15. Phosphorus is also group 15, but it is larger in size, larger in size. That is 3s and 3p. Oxygen is present in oxygen and sulfur. They belong to group 16. And if I consider oxygen, then what is the oxygen, student? Oxygen is 2s and 2p. How much oxygen? Oxygen is 1s2, 2s2, 2p, 4 and 4, 8. Then what is the story here? You have 1, 2, 3, 4. This is our oxygen. This is our nitrogen. Oxygen. Now what do you find here? This nitrogen has half filled, extra stable. Half filled is extra stable. More energy will be required to remove electron. This has one extra electron. It will be easier to remove electron from oxygen than nitrogen. So we can say that the highest ionization enthalpy in this case will be, student, the A answer. Our answer is A, nitrogen. For the reasons, student, nitrogen has a small size, very small size. One, and second reason we have given, it has extra stability due to half filled. Half filled. You can see half filled 2p orbitals are extra stable, extra stable. Okay, next question, students. Next question is coming, student. Metal M forms CCP. CCP. You know what is a CCP? Is a closed pack structure, students. And if N is the oxide, ions occupy half of octahedral and half of tetrahedral voids. So you already know if N is the number of atoms, okay, of metal M, then what is happening? How many tetrahedral voids will be there? Number of tetrahedral voids is always, number of tetrahedral voids is 2n, and number of octahedral voids is how much, students? You are aware of this solid state, same, n. Now he says oxide ions. Oxide ions, you have oxide ions. Oxide ions are occupying how many? Metal, if metal has n, then oxide ions, you are saying how many they are having? Half of octahedral. Half of octahedral mean half of n. Okay, and half of tetrahedral. Tetrahedral is 2n into half. So how much is that, student? N by 2 and n. So total how much? N by 2 plus n will be how much? 2n plus 2n. That will be 3n by 2. So what you have is mn and O 3n by 2, and you multiply by 2n by 3, then what you will get? M2 3O. So that means multiply by 3 by 2, what you will get, student? What will be the formula? Then I will get, what will be the formula? M2O3. Okay, what is the correct answer here? What is the correct answer in this case, students? As you can see, M2O3, then this is the correct answer. Answer is D, student. Answer is D. Question number 32, M2O3. All right. Next question. So, what we have, the reaction of toluene with chlorine in the presence of FeCl3 gives X. Reaction of toluene. This is my toluene. Reacting with chlorine in the presence of FeCl3. You know what is type of reaction is this, student? Friedel-Crafts reaction. Friedel-Crafts reaction. So you know already, this is my FeCl3. So what happens here? FeCl3 plus Cl2 will generate FeCl4 minus plus Cl4 plus. This is an electrophile which will attack this, and you will get two products. What are the two products? Ortho and CH3 Cl student. So you are getting ortho and parachlorotoluene. What are these? Ortho and parachlorotoluene with FeCl3. This is a Friedel-Crafts reaction. In the presence of gives the reaction of chlorine in the presence of gives X, while that of toluene ठीक है, with chlorine in the presence of light gives Y. So what is going to happen when it reacts with chlorine in the presence of light? CH3 Cl2 in the presence of light. What happens with the light? You already know Cl2 will go in form radicals. So this is a free radical substitution. Free radical halogenation of hydrocarbons, student. And here the hydrocarbon is CH3. So what you are going to get? CCl3. 3 hydrogens can be replaced and the result will be this compound. So what is this? This is trichloro. This is our X, trichloro methyl benzene. So this is my Y. So what this is our Y, student. This is our Y. So X and Y, what is the correct answer for 33, student? Then benzene, no. This one, meta, no. Ortho and parachlorotoluenes and trichloromethylbenzene. This is the correct answer. The correct answer is C, students. We are already given X and Y. Next question is on the screen, students. But it says ozone is a molecule and 2 oxygen bonds in ozone are. What is ozone? O3, student. You know it exists as a resonance hybrid. You are aware of this. 1, 2, 3. If I draw the Levy structure, let me see. This is the Levy structure, student. As you can see, this is ozone. This is ozone, and this central oxygen is sp2 hybridized. You have 2 bond pairs and 1 lone pair. So this will be angular. The molecule will be angular, but there is a resonance hybrid, student. I can write another structure. This is another structure. This is another structure, students. For the ozone, now this is 4 electrons, then this is my 6. Or in other words, I can represent the ozone as this is a resonance hybrid structure of ozone. These 2 bond lengths will be equal. These 2 bond lengths will be equal in the case of ozone. And therefore, let us see the answer. No. Linear, no. Angular bond lengths are different. Linear, it is not linear. It is angular, and bond lengths are 128 picometer, student. That is the correct answer. Answer is D. Answer is D. Next question is coming, student. Water retention or puffiness due to high salt intake. If you take high in salt, food, if you are eating high in salt food, what happens, student? Then water retention will take place in tissue cells. In tissue cells and intercellular spaces. Why this happens, student? This is what we know already, osmosis, and this disease name what we call as edema. Students, concentration is more, solution is more concentrated, water will flow. What will happen? then what will happen? Then it will retain water. It will retain water. It will take more water. These cells will take more water because they are concentrated, highly concentrated solution of salt. And what will happen? Then swelling will take place, or puffiness. Then there will be puffiness. That is the water retention will take place, and this is due to the osmosis. So diffusion, no. Vapor pressure, no. Osmosis is the correct answer. Answer is C. Osmosis. Osmosis. All right. Next question is on the screen. In the following reaction, this is glucose. Student, you are already aware of the glucose. How do you write glucose? CHO, CHOH4. I am writing, student, and CH2OH. This is my glucose, student. If I will react this with acetic anhydride, CH3, C2, this is my acetic anhydride, then you know what is going to be formed. This will form pentacetate. So what is that? CHO, CHO, COCH3, 4, and CH2O, CH3, students. This is my pentacetate. That is my A. And what will happen, student? If I react this with concentrated nitric acid, this is a strong oxidizing agent. Oxidizing agent, strong, is a strong oxidizing agent. It will oxidize both the CHO as well as the terminal CH2OH group. And what is going to be the product, student? In this case, COOH. Then you have CHOH4. What is the result of this? You are having and further this will also get oxidized. These two carboxylic are oxidized. What we call this as saccharic acid, students. Saccharic acid. So you have CH2 saccharic acid. Saccharic acid will be there. So where is that, student? The result of this will be, you have, which answer is coming in this case? Oxidation is taking place, and as you can see, both the terminal carbons will be oxidized. Both the terminal carbons will be oxidized to give saccharic acid. And this is my A, then this is my B, students. This is A and B. So what is the correct answer here? You have a pentacetate, and you will get COH, CH2, but something is wrong here in this case, because this should be saccharic acid. There are two COH group, that should be saccharic acid formula. I have already given this one, COH. So here the choice is D. Answer is D, student. This group, this should be this one. That is my B compound. This is my B, student. This is saccharic acid. Next question is coming, student. In the Lake test, what is a Lake test? What we do Lake test for aluminum ions? You know what is happening, student? Al3O plus. This is my aluminum ion, aqueous. You react with ammonia, and you have water. What is the result of this, student? It is forming AlOH3 solid and ammonium ion, aqueous. Now what is important to note, student, that AlOH3, this is a gelatinous precipitate. Gelatinous precipitate, and it absorbs, student, blue litmus, absorbs blue litmus and forms a blue lake, which is a test for the aluminum ions. So Al3 plus dry Al3 is absorbed by the dry Al3 plus is adsorbed by the gelatinous aluminum hydroxide precipitate to form a lake colored solution. So you will see a blue lake in the solution, and this is adsorption of litmus by the aluminum hydroxide. Adsorption of litmus by the ALH3. Therefore, the answer is D, adsorption. Adsorption takes place. Adsorption takes place. A unit cell of NaCl, student. Unit cell, formula unit Z means 4 unit. Z is 4 atoms per unit cell. 4 atoms per unit cell. And the edge length is given. A is how much, student? 0.50 nanometer, which will be equal to 0.50 into 10 minus 9 meter. And you are given in gram per mole. So that will be 0.5 into 10 minus 7 centimeter. That is the edge length. Calculate the density. The molar mass is 58.5 gram per mole, student. What is the formula of the density in the solid state? You have read Z into M divided by A cube into Na. Na is the Avogadro's number, which is 6.023 into 10 power 23 atoms per mole. Then put the values here. Z is 458.5 gram per mole, students. And what is A cube? A cube is 0.5 into 10 minus 7 centimeter cube. And what you have? Na 6.023 10 power 23 per mole. So okay, find this value density, student. How much this density is coming? This is 740 21. Just make it sure. Then once you cancel it, 4 into 58.5 divided by 0.5 into 0.5 into 0.5. So answer here is going to come around 3.1 something. 3.1 gram per centimeter cube. Therefore, the correct answer is C, student. In this case, direct formula, you have to apply for the density. Nothing else is involved. You know, such questions are coming where if you know the direct formula, you can use them, student. No problems in such cases. Which one of the following are correctly arranged on the basis of the property indicated? Property indicated, student. Here you see that in this question, what you have? The first one is increasing bond dissociation enthalpy. Bond dissociation enthalpy. What is this the correct order? Bond dissociation, if you consider, students, FF, Cl, Cl, Br, Br, and II. As you go down the group, the size increases. But we should expect then bond dissociation enthalpy to decrease. But in this case, exception is, students, fluorine. This has a lower bond dissociation enthalpy. Fluorine has a lower bond dissociation enthalpy than Cl2 and Br2 due to strong electron. You can see that this size is very small. Size of this is very small, and what is in, you can see there is a lone pair of electron. There is a strong interelectronic repulsion between these lone pairs of electron. So fluorine has a lower bond dissociation than the chlorine and bromine. And the correct order for this is then changed, student. This is Cl2 is more than Br2, then Br2 is more than F2, then I2. Therefore, this is not the correct answer. Then increasing acid strength, student, increasing acid strength. What is happening when we talk of the acid strength? You have studied what are these groups, student. This was our A part. Let me see. The A is not the correct answer. Let me see the B part, student. You have oxygen sulfur, selenium, oxygen, sulfur, selenium, and tellurium. So if I consider the H2O, these are the oxygen, hydrides of oxygen. Hydride of oxygen is H2O, and this is your HSS. This is your HSES and HTE. What happens as you go down the group? This bond length is increasing. Bond length is increasing. Therefore, this will dissociate faster. So we should expect acidic strength should increase. Acidic strength should increase. So, but what happens is that what happens in water, you see strong hydrogen bonding takes place. In water has a strong hydrogen bonding. So the correct order here is what, student? H2O is not greater. H2O is not greater. H2O is less than H2S, and H2S is less than H2SE, and H2S is less than H2T. Simply, this is not required here. Let me remove it. So what is happening as you go down the group, bond length is increasing, and the bond dissociation enthalpy is decreasing. So this is the correct order. Because the size is becoming larger, bond length is increasing, then this is more acidic. So this is not the correct answer then. Then increasing oxidation state. Let me see C part. NH3, student, what is the oxidation number of nitrogen? This is +3, then nitrogen is -3. What is happening in N2O? This is a -2, then this is +1. NH2OH, what is the NHHOH? This is -1, this is +1, this is +1. So what is this oxidation number? +1. Then this nitrogen is -1, student. This nitrogen is -1 here in H2O, nitrogen -1. And what about N2O5? In N2O5, this is -2 into 5 -10, then this is +5. So what is the oxidation number increasing? Is that the correct answer? NH3, where is NH3 is -3. After this N2O +1. Then this is not increasing, this is -1. Then this is also not the correct. Therefore, this is also wrong. What about this increasing bond angle? Students. What is the bond angle here? What is happening in this? Let us see. As you are going this side, what is happening? Answer D is correct. Answer D is our correct answer. Why, students? As you are going, what is happening? The electronegativity is increasing. Size of atom decreases. Electronegativity increases. What will happen? Then this nitrogen and hydrogen bond is more polar as compared to phosphorus hydrogen. As compared to this, as you are increasing the sizes, this is becoming less electronegative, students. And when these bonds will have a charge, they will repel, and what will happen? The bond angle will increase. So in this case, student, the correct answer is D. D is the correct answer. The bond angle increases as you go from bismuth. This correct order is nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. As you see, the size increases and electronegativity decreases. Therefore, D is the correct answer. Next question, student. Next question. What would be the reactant and reagent used to obtain 2,4-dimethyl pentanol? How do we, let me write first this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 carbons. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. 3 Ol means OH group is at this position, student, penton 3 ol, and 2,4 dimethyl means you have this and you have methyl here, student. And then let me balance the carbon valency, CH3. This is my CH, this is my CH, this is CH3. Now this is the compound we have to prepare. How we have to prepare? What is the reactant and reagent obtained in this case? Propanol, butanol, propanol. So this is a reaction. You already know the reaction: carbonyl compounds and Grignard's reagent, RMGX. Grignard reagent, students, and carbonyl compounds. And you know what happens? This is negative, this is positive, this is negative. What happens then? This R attaches to this carbon. The result of this is R OMGX, and then you hydrolyze, student. What is the result of that in the reaction? You already know. In such reaction, then what you get? CCROH. Now here, this is the point, student, where R has to take place. So what should I have? What type of reagent should we have, student? So if I have, consider CH3, CH3, student, CH. And if I put, since he is using iodide, if I use this compound, I break it here, student, break it here, then what will be the aldehyde, student? That will be C double bond O here. This is the C double bond O here. And what you have, student? C, CH3, C, CH3. This is CH3, this carbon and this carbon. So let me see how much is CH. Now this is the compound. And then there will be hydrogen. This is an aldehyde, and this is my alkyl iodide, student. So which is the correct answer? What is this? What is the name of this compound? 1, 2, 3. So what is this, student? This is, what compound is this? 2-methyl propanol. This is my 2-methyl propanol. And what is this compound? This, the 2-methyl group are same, so it is isopropyl. And if I will put magnesium in this, the Grignard reagent of this will have Mg. So it is prepared from isopropyl iodide, and the Grignard reagent will be CH3 twice CHMgI. That will be the Grignard reagent of this, student. Then what will be the correct answer? No, no, no. Then this is the correct answer, the Grignard reagent. So our answer is, students, our answer is D for the question number 40. Be sure that pay some attention, pay attention, because we have to see how we are working all these questions, students. So what type of reagents we are using? This is a reaction of aldehyde or ketones with Grignard's reagent. Next question, orthohydroxybenzyl alcohol. Let me write first, student, where is, this is my benzyl alcohol, this is my ortho. When reacted with PCl3, what will happen? This is a halogenation reaction, but PCl3 cannot replace this OH because this is attached to sp2 hybridized carbon. There is a partial double bond character. This will replace this. So what will be the product, student? CH2Cl, and this is the compound, student. So what is the name of this compound, students? In this case, what is this? This will be 2-chloro CH2OH. So what is this compound then? What compound we are getting in this case? CH2Cl. This, let me see. This OH is not going to be changed. So this is my phenol. This is my phenol 1, 2. So this is a phenol. So this is 2-chloro. What is this, student? 2-chloro methyl phenol. 2-chloro methyl phenol. So what is the correct answer? Answer is B. This is my 2-chloro methyl phenol. This is my phenol, as you can see. So the correct answer is B, students. Next question is coming, student. Question number 42. Ammonia is the weakest reducing agent and strongest base among group 15 hydrides. 15 hydride. What are the group 15 hydrides, student? Group 15 hydrides. What are group 15 hydride? ठीक है? NH, nitrogen, phosphorus, arsenic, antimony, bismuth. So what is happening, student? In this case, as you go down the group, students, what is happening? The bond dissociation enthalpy decreases. The result of this is that the reducing character increases. Reducing character increases down. So this is the strongest reducing agent. This is the strongest reducing agent because this bond is the weakest. PIH bond is the weakest, students. And it will dissociate. And when it will dissociate, it will produce hydrogen. It will be the strongest reducing agent. And ammonia is the weakest reducing agent. Weakest reducing agent. So what is the order of the reducing agent? What is the order of the reducing agent is NH3 less than PH3 less than ASH3 less than SBH3 less than BIH3. This is the increasing order of the reducing agent. Reducing agent order is increasing. So which of the ammonia is the weakest reducing agent and strongest base? When I talk of the base, base means that nitrogen, the availability of electron pair, the electron density is maximum in the case of the nitrogen because of the small size. Nitrogen, small size, most electronegative. So electron density is highest, maximum in the case of nitrogen. So it is the strongest base. Availability of electron pair is maximum in the case of the ammonia, students. Therefore, what is the correct answer here? Ammonia is the weakest. This A is the correct answer. Need not go further. You want to see, you can see, but okay, we have already explained. Answer is A, student. Answer is A. This is the correct answer. Identify the secondary alcohol from the following set. Let me write CH3, first one CH3, CH2, CHOH, CH3. This carbon has got two carbons, so this is a 2 degree. This is a 2 degree alcohol. One is correct. What is about this? Second, COH, C2H5, C2H5, C2H5. This is a not correct. This is a 3 degree. Let me see the third one, student. Third is a phenol. It is not an alcohol. Phenol, not alcohol. Wrong. He has asked for alcohol. And fourth one, student. What is the fourth one? COH, CH3. This carbon has attached to two carbons. This is a 2 degree. So first and fourth, student. Correct. They are first and fourth are correct, student. Then what is the answer? Where is the first and fourth? The correct answer The correct answer is then student A. Our answer is A, student. First and fourth. Okay. Coming to the next question, student. Alkenes decolorize. Alkenes double bond. Br2 water. This is reddish brown. And what happens, student? In the presence of CCl4, you will get CCBr. This is colorless. Colorless. This is a test for unsaturation. Test for unsaturation. Very important. You have studied in organic chemistry, students. Due to formation of allyl, this is not an allyl bromide. This is not a vinyl. This is not a bromo. This is a these are called vicinal dibromide because 2Br are on two adjacent carbons. Adjacent carbons. They are called vis. If the two Br on the same carbon, they are called gem. You are aware of the vis and dem. The correct answer is D, students. Vicinal dibromide. Dibromide. Now coming to the questions which are assertion and reason, student. Assertion and reason question. You can see that how do we solve assertion and reason question? You are given 4 choices. Select the most appropriate answer from the options given below. Both assertion A and R are true. R is the correct explanation of A. Both A and R are true, but R is not the correct explanation of A. A is true, but R is false. A is true, but R is. What do you mean by this, student? You see, you are given an assertion. You first try to find out whether the given statement is true or not true. Whether the statement is true or false. That is the first thing you do. Second, you are given a reason. This is my A, student, and reason is R. Reason, then you again study the statement of the reason and study whether it is it true or false, student. These are the first things, 2 things you will do. If this is true, then third thing you study whether this is the correct explanation. If reason is a correct explanation of assertion, then the answer will be A. If it is not the correct assertion, answer is B. And if assertion is true but reason is false, C. If assertion is false, the final answer is D. This is the easiest trick. If assertion is false, student, then you have no other choice, but answer is D. Answer is D. This is how we are going to do the questions. Let us see. As I will give some question problem, then we will be able to understand more. First question number 45. Given below are 2 statements labeled assertion and reason. First, electron gain enthalpy of oxygen is less than that of fluorine, but greater than of the nitrogen atom. Let me see whether assertion A is correct or not. What is assertion A, student? Oxygen. You know, oxygen is a highly electronegative element. And what is electron gain enthalpy? Energy released when an electron is added to a neutral gaseous atom. He says it is less than fluorine, than that of fluorine. Because fluorine is more electronegative. Fluorine is more electronegative than oxygen. ठीक है? Electron gain enthalpy of oxygen is less than that of fluorine, but greater than that of nitrogen. Nitrogen is less electronegative. Therefore, we can say this statement is true. The statement is true, correct. So assertion, I am saying assertion is correct, student. What is the reason? Ionization enthalpies of elements follow the order ionization enthalpies of the follow the order. Nitrogen ionization enthalpy more than oxygen and oxygen more than fluorine. Is that the correct ionization? What is ionization enthalpy, student? Energy required to remove an electron. Energy required to remove an electron is called the ionization enthalpy. So here, is that the correct statement? Nitrogen, what is nitrogen, student? 7, 1s2, 2s2, 2p3. Oxygen is 1s28, 2s2 and 2p4. Fluorine 1s2, 2s2, but fluorine is the most electronegative element. Then it is not true. It is not correct. Fluorine has a larger ionization enthalpy. So this is not the correct order. This is not the correct order. This statement is not correct. Reason: R is not true, student. R is incorrect. R is incorrect, false. Assertion is true, but reason is false. Then what we are, A true but R false. What we are saying, A is true. A, this is my A is true, R is false, student. Then the correct answer is C. So the answer of this first one is C, students. Let us move to the second question, 46. Given below are two statements labeled as assertion and reason. Assertion and reason. Alkyl halides are insoluble in water. First, you find out whether the assertion is true. The answer is yes. Why? You know alkyl halide, student. This is a hydrophobic group. R. Therefore, you know that they are insoluble in water. They cannot break they do not have energy to break the hydrogen bonds of water. That is true. Alkyl halides have halogen attached to sp3 hybrid carbons. Of course, this carbon is sp3 hybridized. The carbon is, in the case of alkyl halide, you can have this alkyl halide. This carbon is sp3. This is also true, student. Both assertion, reason are true, but is that the correct explanation for the assertion? Reason is not correct explanation for assertion. Therefore, both A and R are true, but R is not correct explanation for A. Then our answer is B, student. Answer is B. Okay, next question. Next question, student. Pay attention, pay attention. Dekho, these questions are very important because such questions will be asked in the paper. You pay attention, focus, concentrate, and reach and every word, every line very carefully. Given below are two statements. Molarity of a solution changes with temperature. That is a true, student. Because what is molarity, student? Molarity is defined as moles per liter of the solution. So volume changes with temperature. You know, volume changes with the temperature. Volume of solution changes with the temperature. That is true. Molarity is a colligative property. What are colligative properties? Colligative property depends on the number of solute particles, but molarity is not dependent. Molarity is moles per liter. It is not true. It is not true, student. Not true. Incorrect. Incorrect statement. Molarity is moles per liter. These are two extensive properties. Moles is extensive, liter is extensive. It becomes intensive property. Molarity is not a colligative property. Molarity is not a colligative property. It doesn't depend on the amount of the solute because it is moles per liter. So assertion true. R not true. ठीक है, assertion true but R is false. Then what is the answer? What is the answer? C. So answer of this is C, students. Let us move to the next question. Given are two statements labeled as assertion and reason. Assertion A, SO2 is a reducing while TO2 is, what is this? Which group is this, student? Oxygen, sulfur, selenium, tellurium. ठीक है, as you go down, you know what type of oxidation states are shown here. SO2 is +4 oxidation state, and reducing means it will undergo oxidation and it will go to +6 oxidation state. You know, +6 state is very stable. You have +6, +4, and +2 states, and up the group +6 more stable, and down the group, due to there is a inert pair effect. You know that inert pair effect, and lower oxidation state become more stable. So this is sulfur dioxide will get oxidized to, you know, SO4 2-, you know that. So this is a reducing while TO. This is a true, student. This statement is true. So assertion is a true. Let us see the reason. What is a reducing property of sulfur dioxide decreases from SO2 to TO2, student. This is also true, and that is the correct explanation. It is the correct explanation. The reason is the correct explanation of the assertion. True, and it is the correct explanation. Correct explanation of the assertion. Therefore, answer is, student, A. Both A are true. R is correct explanation of the assertion. Let us come to the next question. Cryoscopic constant depends on nature of solvent. That is correct. What we have told you. You have seen the cryoscopic constant in the elevation in boiling point and depression. What we have told you, cryoscopic constant, students. Yes, that depends on the nature of the solvents. KF or KB, you have seen that depends on that is true. That is true. Cryoscopic constant is a universal constant. No, it is not a universal constant. And it depends on the nature of the solvent, student. And cryoscope varies, it varies with type of solvent. As the solvent changes, the value will change. Then that is not correct. So assertion is true and reason is false. What is the correct answer? A is true, but R is false. Therefore, the answer of this is C, students. Therefore, students, I end up the section B part of 12th chemistry paper released by CBSE with full explanations. Section A has been uploaded, already available in YouTube, and this is now also available in the YouTube. Therefore, you can watch them closely, pay attention, and you learn each and everything very clearly. And I will meet you in my next video in which I will solve section C. Thank you very much. Keep on subscribing our channel and forward it to your friends so that they can get benefit of my hard work and labor. My video lectures will be coming on all topics and you can watch them, you can learn them. And our only thing is pay attention, stay focused, try to understand, no cramming, please, no cramming, please, and you will enjoy my sessions. Thank you very much, and I see you in my next video.